Welcome everyone to the session on the new release of Trimble Business Center version 3.50, releasing in April 2015. My name is Boris Koplyak, located in Trimble Westminster office in Colorado. We're going to start first with the definition of TBC for all of those that are new to the software. So we are the industry-leading office software for surveying and mapping professionals. Here in the list you can see our scalable offering. We have three core editions, and then we have modules that are focusing on vertical applications. And you may notice on the far right a new module releasing with this release called Data Prep. Just to iterate over some of the TBC values, we integrate most sensor types in industry, ranging from GNSS, optical, leveling, UAVs, terrestrial photogrammetry, and so on. So we provide detailed QC and traceability of your fieldwork with a high level of automation in creating line work and symbology based on feature coding, seamlessly integrate with the CAD and GIS systems, and provide highly accurate adjustments in COGO, which we are known for with our baseline processing, and with some of the recent releases with advanced drafting, and now with the data prep, we are also focusing on field to finish survey design workflows, and we provide flexible reporting and custom exports. In TBC version 3.50, some of the key messages that we want to broadcast are the ability to easily create actionable 3D models from 2D plans using the new data prep module, again enabling field to finish survey design workflows, efficiently model and measure using point clouds created from Trimble vision imagery, and now we support a mixed fleet including non-Trimble GNSS and optical instruments. With the data prep module, we are focusing on ability to quickly turn 2D drawings into 3D models, allowing users to work with the PDF, raster, and or vector files. We can quickly extract and digitize data from these PDF drawings, and either you have a 2D CAD or any other 2D vectors, you can automatically elevate these objects into 3D. So this module primarily is useful for cadastral surveyors who are turning their historical 2D data into 3D vectors, also construction surveyors that are elevating 2D CAD data into 3D for purpose of stakeout, or any survey professionals that are working with civil engineers and doing a lot of interaction via PDFs or CAD drawings. How does that look like from the workflow perspective? So first you would drag and drop a raster or a vector PDF inside Trimble Business Center, and notice as you drag in the PDF, automatically a place image command shows up. Next you can place an image, so using a scale bar and a north arrow that you can locate on a PDF, you can simply place image, and if you have coordinate tables and you know the location of some of the points in the PDF, you can also use a georeference PDF command to get that PDF properly located. Next, you would import that vector PDF data into the software, and what that would do is basically automatically generate all of the vector data over those vector PDF lines. As you can notice, here is the data, digitized data in the plan view, and in the 3D view you will see that that data doesn't have elevation, so it's a flat 2D vector data. In case of a raster PDF, you would simply use some of our streamline commands for digitizing and create those vectors from the raster PDF. Once you have your vector data inside the Trimble Business Center project, now you want to clean up your data, and one of the commands to do that is ability to standardize layers. As you can see, a typical DXF or PDF drawing imports vector PDF imports with all of the layers, and sometimes you can have more than several hundred layers, and you may just want to standardize those layers to several ones that you want to use for the particular project. So just by selecting the data in the plan view and selecting the destination layer in the list, you can quickly standardize the layers in your drawing. Also, you can do project cleanup with this highly efficient command. You can, for example, get rid of all of the unused blocks, unused layers with the zero length lines, segments, with joining lines that are close to each other that should be joining, and much more. So it's again highly productive command inside data prep module. Next, once you have standardized and clean up your drawing, now you can elevate your data. So this turns 2D vector data into 3D models, so you can elevate any CAD objects from contours, points, lines, and polygons. What is the reason why you want to do that? Very often 2D is enough if you just want to do a horizontal stakeout or you're interested in 2D guidance, but if you're interested in any cut and fill work, you want to have 3D lines for that elevation control and takeoff. In those elevating commands, for example, you can elevate individual contours like this, and notice here in the 3D view on the right, all of the data is still 2D and just one contour that we selected was elevated into 3D. By crossing contours, you can elevate many contours at once. So in this example, with 3 clicks of a button, we were able to get all of these contours into 3D. And if you have labels, like in this example from a CAD drawing, you can elevate all of the contours by label, and now you can elevate all of these other ones by crossing. So in very few clicks of a button, you can get from a 2D data into a 3D model. Using the same principle, you can also elevate points, lines, and paths and get a full 3D model. Just to recap on the data prep, so it's a new module for TBC that is geared towards productivity and working with a 2D CAD and PDF data. So instead of listing all of the other benefits here, we used a quote from one of our customers, for example, like saving 2 hours on individual project using this module. Using data prep, he is able to do things more accurately, reducing the liability with getting rid of a lot of paper drawings and PDFs going around, and ultimately he is using this also on bidding and estimating jobs that he can also later use in the project stage for staking out data. So moving on to the other TBC functionality, so it's definitely our biggest release we've ever had, and you will see now why. So in the data review section, we now allow you to key in leveling data. So you may have a lot of non-Trimble leveling instruments or non-digital leveling instruments where you just write these leveling data somewhere in an Excel spreadsheet or on a piece of paper, and you draw a sketch of your leveling run similar to this. With the leveling editor now, you can easily just input all of that information in the leveling editor, and you can have different standard errors per run, and you can always add runs, insert station setup, or insert side shot as you go, and you can include all of this data into your network adjustment, combining your leveling data and your total station and GNSS data, using the leveling data to hold vertical elements fixed, for example. With the Total Station Editor, which is another utility that we just released that is similar to Leveling Editor, you can easily review your field work. So as you see here in the Project Explorer, you were able to see the chronological order of your measurements. Now you can see that through this Total Station Editor in a much more concise way with also instrument readings. But we took that to a step further, and in case you have total station data written somewhere on a piece of paper, you can simply key in those total station data using the total station editor. So following the same workflow as Trimble Access, you can perform station setup, resection, and key in observations like this, and all the vectors are going to be created in the plan view, and it's going to be as equally as if you imported them from a digital file. To support our family of Trimble instruments, we have a new R8S receiver support inside Trimble Business Center. As you drag in any static data in TBC, you will notice the antenna type as a R8S internal, same for any RTK vectors. You will notice the antenna type now is the R8S. On the total station side of instruments, we have new S5, S7, and S9. One of the capabilities they have is to collect HDR triplets in the field, and once you drag and drop the data inside TBC, TBC is going to do HDR processing from those images on the fly, and you will see that message as you are importing the file. Once the data is in, you will notice the new instrument model. In this example is the Trimble S7. With the HDR, notice that the images are much more crisp and you can tell much more detail, and therefore extracting information from these images is more efficient. Another thing with Vision Instruments, you can review also the annotated or scribbled images in the field, and you can see a comment here next to the image. On the feature coding and attribution side, we've introduced automation in circle and rectangle feature coding. So if you have a manhole, you can simply code manhole. In this example, MH is the symbol for manhole, and start center circle, and you can specify the radius 2, and TBC will automatically draw a circle with a radius of 2. In case you don't know the radius and you want to position the second point on the rim, you can just code SCC as a start center circle and define with the second point where the rim is. Or if you cannot access the center of circle, you can collect 3 points on the rim of the circle. With the rectangles, in this example, you can also specify a manhole, and you can say start rectangle and -4 as the offset. In the case you don't know the width parameter in advance, you can simply collect 3 points. TBC is going to use the third point to define the width of the rectangle. You can also now copy-paste feature codes inside the Feature Definition Manager. Also, we've done much better in importing attributes from the Esri geodatabase. You can simply extract the geodatabase XML, and in Feature Definition Manager you can import that XML and read all the features together with the associated attributes. Moving on to the survey computations and COGO, we have a new baseline processor that now allows you to process individual constellations. So if for some reason your government organization or your local agency require you just to use a specific constellation, so that means you can process Beidou on its own, Galileo or GLONASS without having to have GPS observations as well. Version 3.50, we are also accounting for the leap second change that's going to happen in June of this year. We did some fixes to the Beidou Rhinex reader, and we improved algorithms for handling noisy data. On the Coordinate System Manager side, you can now save your custom CSD with a different name and to a different location. So under Tool Options in the CSM, you can navigate to any local folder, like in this example it was a desktop, and you can point to any geodatabase file. On the site calibration, we are now matching Trimble Access, a 2-point vertical site calibration. On the data interoperability side, we exposed Trimble Connect, which is a platform for sharing the data primarily for building contractors and other multidisciplinary team working on a building construction site. So from the Trimble Business Center, you can connect to Trimble Connect via users, options, external services, and set your Trimble Connect username and password, and you can upload and download data from Trimble Connect remotely. We can import Autodesk templates now, the DWT format. That way you can make sure that all of your CAD blocks come along properly, so when you move the data back to Autodesk environment, you will preserve all of your symbols and the block definitions. We have also exposed the Blue Booking exporter. At this point we export the G file, B and S file are not supported at the moment. On the CAD and drafting side, we've done some work which is very exciting. We introduced automated dynamic labeling. So that means with the Label Style Manager as a utility, you can define your labeling styles, and you can label your whole TBC project with very few clicks of a button. This works on points, lines, and polygons as the basic geometric objects, and each of those have some different properties that you can decide to expose. Like in this example, with the point styles, you can choose different elements of that go on the label, and in the preview window you can see how is that going to look like. You can apply rotation and other properties, and you can see how does that look like in the plan view. Similar for lines. In this example, we decided to show the bearings and distances, and you can see how that automatically shows up. For arcs, you may have some additional properties, and for polygons, you may have some other properties as well that you want to expose on polygons. We have also created automated dimensioning. So using the dimension style manager, you can define the lines, arrows, text units, position of the dimensions, and you can efficiently dimension any linear or angular objects. And this just shows some of these examples on how you can place the linear dimensions. So you can choose any 2 points, or you can choose line or arc segment. For the angular objects, again showing how you can quickly get those angular dimensions in. Some other CAD functionality that we are releasing is ability to track region outline. So if you have two polygons, like in this case, track region outline command, which is located here under the edit lines, will create a third polygon that contains common features between two previous polygons. On the clip lines, which is very similar to trim lines, you can remove lines inside or outside of the bounding object, and you can break lines at crossing object. On the corridor design side, we created another exporter just for the alignment to simplify the export. As we noticed, there was a lot of confusion when you try to export alignment from a surface or a corridor. There's many settings that you need to go through. By using alignment only exporter, you can simply select your horizontal vertical alignment, beginning and end station, and you can get your alignment out. When you create a corridor, you don't automatically get a surface. We enabled another command called create corridor surface that allows you to create multiple surfaces per corridor, so that way you can have different material layers. Instead of having just one surface associated to one corridor, you can now have multiple surfaces associated to one corridor. For our German customers, we made sure that we eliminate all of the REB issues at the moment. So if you set the setting in the import to create surfaces on import, TBC is going to import all of the REB files properly, and we don't have any outstanding issues with working with REB at the moment. For the point cloud side, we created a limit box that allows you to kind of scale what you see in your plan and 3D view. The limit box works on other objects in TBC like CAD entities. Essentially, it's a view filter where you can kind of moving these arrows, you can define how much of data do you see in TBC. On the terrestrial photogrammetry side, we are now able to generate point clouds from Trimble Vision. Here you can see an example of a mining point cloud. Here's another example of the facade, an old historical building here in Colorado. If you decide that you want to generate point clouds from Trimble Vision, you need to modify some of your data collection best practices as well. So what we recommend is that the distance from a station to an object and the distance between two consecutive stations is not more than 4:1. So that means if you have 100 meters between the object here and the station, then the spacing between two consecutive stations should be at most 25 meters. Also, we enabled the ability to group photo stations. So notice there's a new group photo station command that allows you to select multiple groups, like in this example, and process multiple groups simultaneously, which will also reduce the time to process, as each group is going to be processed on a separate core. So if you have 8 cores on your computer, you're going to be 8 times faster to process the total data set. Also, you will ensure that some of the existing data sets process successfully. In this example, we had 120 stations that didn't used to process before as a one single group, but after we have broken it down to individual groups, we were able to successfully process the data. This also allows you, if you're doing a data collection in multiple days in a row, you can every day you can adjust as a separate group, and you can ensure that you are successful in your processing. We have also simplified the workflow. In the adjust photo station command, notice that there's a new tab called adjust. So the automatic and manual tabs don't do any adjustment at the moment. The only purpose is to allow you to extract automatic type points and to add manual type points as needed. So this kind of simplifies the whole workflow, where you choose the station setup, you run the automatic type points. If you realize that you need some additional points, you can run the manual type points, and then you can run your adjust command to get a dataset adjusted. Also, for users of Google Earth 7.0 and above, a bug that Google Earth introduced in their version 7.0 and above is that images have to be loaded from a web server instead of a local desktop machine. So for those of you that are happy with working in Google Earth 6.2 and earlier, you can continue using this checkbox Google Earth KMZ, and if you want to use Google Earth 7.0 and above, you can use Google Earth KML powered by InSphere. And as you notice, if both of them are checked on, you will get two KMZ files. One is InSphere and the other one is the local one. On the other TBC general improvements, I want to highlight the warranty expiration notice that will motivate you to contact your local distributor and upgrade your warranty. For all of those working in the multilingual environment or companies, on the install you can choose to install more languages, and you can check the languages you want to install. You can check them all, or you can just choose the ones you're interested in. And in the user options, there's a new language tab, and you can simply switch between the languages on the fly while using TBC. We are also deploying tutorials online, which means that you will always have the access to the latest tutorials, and instead of downloading 600 megabyte packages, you can simply go to the tutorial you're interested in, and there's going to be a hyperlink to the data that is associated to that tutorial. You can also float all tab views, so that means if you have 3 or 4 plan views that open at the same time, or 3D views, you can put them on multiple screens and more easily work with your data. Also, with some of the ability like limiting rotation in 3D view enables you to work easier with big data sets like point clouds, and prevent from viewing objects upside down. We also have a cleanup utility that will help with all of the installation issues. So if you're installing new version and you're having issues, you are going to the registry yourself, trying to eliminate the data that you don't want. So the cleanup utility is going to allow you to do that really efficiently. So there's a quick and advanced setting where you can choose to remove all of the unreferenced shared files, all of the registry objects related to Trimble Business Center, and allow you to have a clean start before you install a new version of TBC. We have an updated licensing matrix, so this is available also in TBC help files. Notice there's a new data prep column available here with the features associated to that module. Regarding other resources, definitely refer to the release notes as a very complete list of features. We have a lot of materials that's going to be posted on the partner site. We will have again a large number of new YouTube videos, and there's going to be updates to our Facebook page, and of course Trimble.com. So please make sure that you use these resources to get yourself familiar with the new TBC version 3.50. That would be all for today. Thank you very much for your attention, and look forward for your feedback and using this new version. Very excited about.